Hello and welcome back to OT, the podcast. We are here to talk about watches, time, and specifically today, how to spend it. My name is Andy Green.
Of course, I am Felix Schultz.
But of course, Felix, today we're getting straight to it. We have a watch matchmaker. So first one of the new year. It's going to be exciting.
Yep.
I know you've got something you're gushing to talk about, so we'll do that. We'll dive into that, and then we'll get into a watch matchmaker from Adam.
Yeah, we'll get into Adam's brief. No, I just wanted to share. I read a link that popped up as something I might like to read on my phone. And do you know what? My phone was right. It was a Wired article with the exceptional title, "The Autonomous Car Chaos of the 2004 Darpa Grand Challenge."
Famously chaotic.
Do you know what Darpa is, first of all?
I have no idea.
So Darpa is like army nerds. Okay. They're like the military guys that like made GPS, like stealth technology, and some other stuff. I don't know, that we probably don't know about. Lasers, space lasers. So, and in 2004, this guy put on a challenge with $1 million prize, sort of under the auspices of DARPA, to like early autonomous cars. And like it was 50 people entered a car. 18 of them qualified or 15 qualified. None of them finished. And it's like it was across the Mojave Desert, like 100 miles or something. And they had to track they had like 100 meter like GPS coordinates that had to go through, and it was really, really fascinating because this is like, and the premise, so this is an extract of a book. The premise is that this challenge essentially kickstarted the autonomous car industry, and it's from 2004. Like, look how far things have gone in such a short amount of time. Really, it's pretty wild stuff to see, like what they were capable of then, like what cutting edge was, and now we're like, Tesla.
Okay, well, that sounds fascinating, Felix. I think we can link that up definitely. We'll cut off the all the UTM tracking that managed to find you through your weird searches through the internet.
That's the pop-up link.
those pop-up displays, PVC. Alrighty, let's take a quick break, and then let's get into this email from Adam. This week's episode is brought to you by TAG Heuer, who have launched a new partnership with Porsche, and today we're going to have a chat about the two versions of the watch that they've released to kick off this collaboration. The watch, well, the TAG Heuer Carrera Porsche Chronograph Special Edition.
Absolutely, Andy. We're talking about a 44mm Carrera in a steel case on either a H-link bracelet or a Porsche-inspired leather strap. The dial is really interesting. It's asphalt grey with some awesome texture, black counters, red highlights, applied minute markers, and a subtle date at 6. There's a black ceramic tachometer bezel with Porsche in red text and numerous other red highlights, because black, red, and grey are Porsche colours. The movement is the top-of-the-line Heuer 02, which gives you 80 hours of power reserve, and the rotor, it's shaped like a Porsche steering wheel.
Absolutely love that dial. It's worth noting that all the text is actually Porsche fonts, and that they've gone with applied minute markers rather than ours for a more of a speedometer feel, which is totally on brand given the partnership.
Andy, you've had this on the wrist for a bit now. What do you think?
First things first, Felix, 44mm is a big watch, so I've been drawn to the leather strap model. It has 4 lines of grey stitching, which is inspired by the Porsche's interior. Really though, this watch is all about that dial. The texture, which is a first for TAG Heuer, is something else, and it's really dynamic when you're out and about, especially in the sun. The black and red are nicely balanced too, and the whole package feels modern and sporty. I really like the movement. The Heuer 02 is a great chronograph, which is visible through that clear caseback. Of course, the rotor is very cool, as is the fact that it's signed by TAG Heuer and Porsche. All up, this is a solid release that fans of both brands can really get behind.
Agree 100%, Andy. The partnership makes sense. Heuer and Porsche both had a presence at the Carrera Panamericana road race in the 50s that inspired the Carrera name for Heuer, and later the Porsche Carrera. There's just so much shared history between the brands, and a shared future too, as TAG Heuer sponsors the Porsche Formula E team. I just can't wait to see where they take it from here.
Nor can I, Felix. So, in terms of pricing, the TAG Heuer Carrera Porsche Chronograph Special Edition is priced at $8,450 on leather, and on the steel bracelet, it's $8,750 Australian dollars. Now, it's not a limited edition, as we said, but it does come in some special co-branded packaging.
To discover more about the partnership between TAG Heuer and Porsche, as well as the new TAG Heuer Carrera Porsche Chronograph, head to tagheuer.com/Porsche or your local TAG Heuer boutique.
Alrighty, Felix, buckle up. It's time to get back to the show. And we are back.
We are, Andy. And we've got an email in our little box from Adam.
Boom. Ping.
Ping. Finally, I have a watch matchmaker request. Finally. He's been hanging out to want to buy a watch. I currently have my grandfather's Enicar in my collection, as well as a Hamilton Jazzmaster. First up, 2 great watches. I've resisted the temptation to buy other cheaper watches, as my eyes have been fixed on an Omega Speedmaster Professional for a number of years, falling in love with the look and the story of the watch. Recently turned 30, and I wanted the sapphire crystal with displayback model. However, then your podcast came along, and he's not so sure. So we're doing what we do best. We're making people less certain and want to spend more money. But Adam wants an everyday watch that he can beat around with, a chronograph or a dive watch, he thinks. He wants a watch with history or story behind it. He's already turned 30, so he doesn't want to wait much longer. His budget is around 7,000, we're going to say Australian dollars, and our thoughts are appreciated. And
Perfect.
Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, I've got thoughts. And how this works for the newer listeners is we each pick 3 watches for Adam, and then we sort of compare notes at the end. So we'll kick things off with my first select, as it will. And a quick one here. I've chosen 3 chronographs. I figured if you really wanted a dive watch, you wouldn't have mentioned chronograph and a Omega Speedmaster. So that's where I've landed.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The first one I've picked is right at the top of his budget. If it was Aussie dollars, it is priced at $6,950. It is the Breitling Top Time. Now I believe it is a limited edition one, but it's nicknamed the Zorro dial because of the way the dial sort of split up with the white and black contrasting. A few red highlights in there. Obviously a chronograph, like I said, it's 41 millimeters, so about the same size as a Speedy. It's got 48 hours of power reserve, and it's just a handsome watch. This is a one that I played around with last year, probably in the middle of the year, and it's a really, really nice looking watch.
Would you beat it? Like, is it sort of, does it fit the beatery sort of brief?
I mean,
it's a bit fancier.
I mean, it's a little bit dressy, but it does have, a few brushed elements to it. It's on a leather strap. I'm sure you could throw it on a NATO or something.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a modern Breitling. Like, if you can't beat this around, I don't know what you can.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, and whenever everyone says beat it, but it's not like they're actually smashing it around on things. Yeah. So I think it fits the brief.
I think this is going to be one if he loves that dial that sort of looks like a Zorro mask, he's in. If not, he's out. So what's coming up next, Andy Grant?
Also limited edition, so that fits his little brief of nice. Wanting it to have a story about it.
Yeah, and the Top Time's a very storied model. Yeah. So you can't go
exactly.
Wrong with that.
Historically important, so it's limited to 2,000 pieces, I'll add.
Oh,
cool.
Easy.
All right. So my next pick, say he was talking 7,000 US. This is 9,800 Aussie dollars. So about about 7 US. It is the Tag Heuer Carrera Montreal.
Ooh la la.
Again, a chronograph. This one came out sort of around Q4 2020. Limited edition. It's the white dial, blue sub-dials, yellow, red, and then a bit more by the way of blue highlights, as well as the leather strap being blue, and made from alligator. It is 39 millimeters, so a couple of millimeters the other way. 100 meters water resistant, which gives me plenty of confidence in the beatability, if that's a word. Steel polished case, bezels fixed in stainless steel, also polished. I think again, if you're talking about a watch that has enough history behind it and enough of a story, don't know that you can go wrong with the Carrera Montreal.
This is an interesting one. So the Montreal was a separate line back in the day, and it was sort of their really funky one, and they've sort of shoehorned it into the Carrera. But I do like this movement. Like the Heuer 2 movement is great. Yep. So that's for the money. I think you're getting a really, really top-notch chronograph movement there. And yeah, lovely choice.
Yeah, again, if we're sort of using my take on beta, I think that it fits. I think that's okay.
Who's going to be smashing around a $7,000 watch? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I hear what you're saying, but
yeah.
It'll be fine.
I think it'll be fine. All right, my last one, which is it's not a new watch; it's a vintage watch. The price that I found was in US dollars, so we're just all over the shop here. But the price is $3,190. Available. There's a few around, kicking around on eBay. I found one that was a full set, and it is the Omega Apnea Jacques Mayol. Jacques. Jacques
Cousteau, I think.
Yeah, whatever. But it's like a watch from the early 2000s that Omega released. It is a pretty quirky chronograph.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me. What are we looking at here?
What we're looking at is the classic 42mm steel, almost Seamaster if you were to put that in your head.
Yep.
But the dial and the way that the chronograph works is a little bit different. It has 7 circles on the sort of top half of the dial that are basically used to time your free diving. And the reason that it is sort of these circles is that as the time is elapsed, they change color from, depending on the dial, it'll change color, but it might go from like red to black. So all of the circles will go red, and then it will give you that again, and they'll go back to black. So it's basically, done in collaboration or in consultation with a very famous freediver. And the idea was that he could, look down and time his freediver. And I think there's like a whole bunch of interesting history around this watch, mainly the ridiculous need for it. Mm-hmm. But, and for those who don't know what freediving is. Yeah, we'll link that up. But basically, for those who don't know what freediving is, you make a descent without equipment just to test lung capacity. So see how long you can go in one breath.
Super dangerous.
Yeah, super dangerous. And the other cool thing is that I think that they had to, the reason that it goes back again a second time is because each circle is 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So as you elapse 1 minute, the second's hand goes round, and then when it hits the circle goes that full color. But there was like a time when the record was broken, so they needed another sort of extra 7 minutes. So that's why it goes back. That's why it goes back, because I think the record is like 12 or 13 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, I feel like if that's a quirky option, again, the budget, it's like half of what he's got to spend. That is really going to be a beater.
Super tough watches.
Yeah, being effectively like a Seamaster with this chronograph function. There's not many of them. I know we were talking about when I suggested this, that it's a bit of maybe a bit of an underdog, a bit underrated at the moment in terms of collectability as well. Yeah. So that's
cool conversation.
That's my last pick. Yeah, that's a conversation starter.
To me, it looks a lot like if you can't imagine what this looks like, think of like a regatta timer. It's that same sort of. It's a visual representation of the elapsed time. So yeah, that's a super cool watch, and I'm a little bit jealous that I didn't think of that one, Andy.
Yeah, I thought it was just something different. Something different.
Do you want to know what I thought of?
Hit me with your first pick.
Well, when he said he wants the diving watch or a chronograph, I immediately went, why not have both? The first pick is the retro pick. This is the Aquastar Deep Star. It's a 2020 watch, a new re-edition of a historic, brand and a historic, model.
The father of the dive watch.
Apparently. There's 3 options. There's blue, there's black, or there's this one, steel grey, which I think is a nice middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
Faithful remake of that 60s original. Good size. Like it's got a sort of a really 60s sort of blocky case design, but it comes in at 40.5 mil. And it's because of the people that do Aquastar. They used to be the guys that had Doxa back in the day, and they do isofrane and tropic straps. So you get a great quality tropic strap. You also get a beads of rice bracelet. And Jason Heaton's a big fan of it. Like it's all over his, Instagram, and I think he did write-ups for it for Hodinkee and the like. So I'm sold. It's a cool look. It's got like that one big eye register and what looks to be like a decompression table or something on the outside. Good price as well. I should mention to you, Andy, it's US pre-order at the moment, so $3,590 dues. Chronograph with 200 meters water resistance.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
does tick I think that ticks basically every box. Chrono and a diver. Very smart. That's going to be a tough watch as well.
Yeah, so like it's storied, it's left of center. I really like it. It's like it's got like a bit of cool cred, and it's not something that you're going to see too many of. Now
it's 40.5 as well. Yeah, that's
a good size, huh?
That's not a bad size.
Yeah, I don't know how chunky it'll be. Like, I mean, I always find that with smaller chronos that the height to width ratio needs to be factored in.
Looks like it's got a bit of a domed crystal going on, so I imagine there's a bit of retro vibes there.
Yeah, sure. Now, my next one, I've gone along a similar path, but I've gone bigger. This is the bigger retro pick. Sin 158. Now, this is currently on sale from Australian Sin Stockers to Fine Watches for 4,250 Aussie dollars. It's a limited edition of 500. It's on sale, Andy Green. What's going on? So this certainly fits the storied past criteria. It's a reissue of those sort of classic Bundeswehr watches, which were made for the German armed forces and pilots, and they were made by Sinn as well as companies like Heuer, or, they were made by Sinn and Stickard Heuer. It
Very
is
cool.
a big 43mm chronograph. It's like super sort of Spartan pilot style black dial, 2 registers, red details, aluminium bezel with 45-minute, minute indications on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other cool things about this, Andy. It's got acrylic glass.
Oh, vintage.
Yeah, which is like I don't know if you're liking that speedy. I know he was going for the sapphire speedy, but if you want that sort of real retro vibe, that's there. Solida Auto.
Smash it around real good.
Exactly. And Sinn they're famously hard wearing. So I think if you want to lean down that, sort of knock it around, line a bit more, that's fine. And again, I think for the price, this is a lot of watch for the money. So that's my second pick, Andy.
Yeah, that case is gonna be tough. Bead blasted, it's not going to really show those sort of minor scratches and scuffs. So that's cool.
The only thing is 43 is big. That's a big watch.
That is big.
I think if you put it on the right NATO, and it's such a cool look. Like it's a really distinctive, retro style. So, that's that one. And lastly, I've gone a different path.
Okay.
The Mont Blanc Heritage Monopusher chronograph.
Wow.
So this is a steel case monopusher chronograph.
Sure.
Famous sort of Minerva, which Mont Blanc is now owner of Legacy. And I don't think it's probably a Minerva movement for that sort of money.
No, it would be.
But it's a solid case back, so make from that what you will. But the real takeaway here for me is the dial, which is a lovely textured salmon Andy Green.
Oh, settle down.
It's falling off the bone. It's just so
smoked. Yeah.
Very smoked, textured. There's two registers on that chrono. One of them on the right has little indications, which is a nice retro touch, back when you needed to time your international phone calls so they didn't bill you too much. They'd bill you in 3-minute increments. Not particularly useful today, but nice.
That's how I time my phone calls with you now. You have 3 minutes.
Billing. Yeah.
Time to go.
But it's steel, 42mm, glass box sapphire, really nice, beautiful quality dial. I've seen this one up close. It is really, really stunning. Good grey leather sort of strap. Really dressy and again, slightly different option. 7,650 Australian dollars. So I think you might be able to wheedle yourself a little bit of a discount if you ask nicely. Just quietly.
Put on a big smile. That's a cool watch. The strap that it comes on is a really nice grade. There's a little bit of a gradient to it as well, which is very complementary to the salmon. Yeah, and those blue, don't forget the little blue hands.
Yeah, you're right.
Popping off that salmon
dial. And they're nice big registers as well. It's just a really nice balanced dial, I think. And that's why I put it in, solely for the dial and the monopusher coolness.
Not very beatable, but then again...
about as beatable as your Breitling, let's be honest. Oof.
Okay.
And there's less pushes for it to get snagged on.
That's true. And a monopusher is cool. That's like a nice little touch there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Alrighty. So I've put forward the Breitling Top Time, the Carrera Montreal, and the Omega Apnea Jacques Mayor. What do you reckon?
I got to go the Omega.
Yeah, agree.
I don't know if Adam will, because I don't know if I'm being pretty selfish with this, but I love it. I can't go past it. It's got personality. It's certainly tough. It's a talking piece, and it's like half the budget, which I don't think you can underrate.
Well, you know what you can do?
What?
You can spend the other half on that Aquastar. Pre-order a little deep sea.
Ooh. So is that your pick of my 3?
I think it is.
Is it just the Jason Heaton endorsement?
Maybe it is. It's a cool looking watch. It's unique as far as I think recent smaller dive watch brands.
Yeah.
The story's good. The Aquastar story is in particular quite interesting. And as I look at this list of 6 rather interesting, quirky chronos, Oh, I think we found the title for this show.
6 quirky chronos.
6 quirky chronos for Adam.
Nice.
But yeah, I think we've given him a bit of stuff to work with, Felix.
Yep. Also, I think we should have said this at the start. You can't go wrong with the Speedmaster as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know
just buy the Speedy.
They've just gone up in price, but you cannot go wrong with it.
But you know the problem? There's probably like 3 times as many Speedmasters currently for sale.
Is that a problem?
Yeah. It'd be a hard decision.
Oh, you mean actual different types of Speedmaster?
Yeah, there's so many to choose from.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we'll do a Speedmaster episode sometime.
Oh gosh, we'll get some of the Speedmaster experts on. We'll do it on a Tuesday. We'll do it as our Tuesday episode.
Yes, that's not a bad idea. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. You'll notice this is a shorter app. We've got a whole bunch of mail to get through, and we figured if we chip away at it, we break them down a little bit shorter, we'll get to more. So if you are looking to have this fantastic free service, shoot us an email, otthepodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you include your price and currency, a nice little story about who you are and what you're after. We obviously have some sponsors to thank this week. Felix.
Thank you, as always, to Major Tom for your excellent post-production. We've never sounded better. Andy, do you know what? They can't just email us. They can also hit us up on the gram.
Slide right in. At ot.podcast. Yeah, jinx. Alrighty, guys. Well, we will catch you. We'll catch you later on for another fantastic episode of OT the Podcast.
How about that?
Boom.